Yeah. Everybody's on, right? Everybody's on. Just, okay. Making sure, like Jeremy's is not, it's flashing red. I don't, is it, should be flat? Is that normal? It's.
I think it hears you, I think.
Maybe it's fine. Maybe because it's too close. Maybe I need to move over. I don't know.
We've been wrecked.
Oh, absolutely. He's already signed up.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. No.
Just one.
Longest minute in show business. Or 2 minutes, I guess, actually.
Dr. Horrell, do we have a light that's on? Mine, yeah, okay. I can go turn.
Hey.
Oh, there you go. It's much better.
Hey. Not as dramatic anymore.
I like your water bottle, Laura. I like your water bottle.
Yes.
Thanks.
My other one's messed up. My white one from football, like the stuff has started coming off.
I'm excited to watch the band
Yeah.
this fall.
Let's sit up.
Big bar stools.
I know. Need to be higher. Okay, I have 5:45. I will call the meeting to order if everyone would stand for the moment of silence and the pledge. You face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, she's over here. Madam Recorder, if you call the roll, please.
Chair Laura Harrison,
Present.
Vice Chair Jeremy Burnett,
Here.
Keith Acton,
Present.
Michelle Childs,
Here.
Deborah Thomas.
Present.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our August business meeting. We also have some very special guests in attendance. We have Ms. Kay Williams from the Arlington Community School Board, outgoing member, and Courtney Barnes, who is taking her place as the incoming school board. I don't know what position number, so I'll just leave it to y'all for position 4. Okay, so, and her replacement, so thank y'all for attending. I'll just take a moment to recognize, and Dr. Mitchell, and he'll come up later in the agenda, but certainly thank you and your wife for being here tonight. So any further items that, hearing none, Dr. Horrell, will you lead us through our agenda, please?
Yes, the first item is the opportunity for public comment.
Do Do we have anyone from the public that would like to speak? Hearing none, next item.
Next item is the legislative liaison update.
Ms. Childs.
I do not have a further update today.
All right, next item.
All right, next item is the superintendent's report, and I've got some recognitions. I also want to formally recognize first Kay Williams with the Arlington Community Schools Board. She was a founding member of that board, and as we've noted many times, Arlington Community Schools has been a steadfast and wonderful partner for Lakeland School System, and we've collaborated on a number of things, not least of which was sending our students to Arlington Middle School and Arlington High, and we still have our seniors there this year, and that has been a district that has certainly professionally shared with me in terms of their leadership and just about anything we needed. And they've shared their facilities and their faculty and really everything we could have asked. So we're grateful for your leadership, Ms. Williams, and as far as helping to make that happen and the work that you've done. And we're also very excited to welcome Courtney Barnes, who will, as she noted, not my words but hers, but I agree. She has big shoes to fill, and but I know that Arlington's lucky to have her serving. So we're grateful for that partnership and look forward to continuing to work with you guys. So thank you. If I could, I have a recognition as part of my superintendent's report, and I've got two very, very special individuals in the life of our school system that I'd like to honor and recognize tonight. We've been celebrating our 10th birthday, the 10th anniversary of Lakeland School System, and with us here tonight are two people that have been with Lakeland School System in support roles, both formally and informally, throughout the life of the school system, and those are Jim Mitchell and his wife, Nancy, and they are here tonight, and a couple of good reasons to recognize them tonight. One, I think, is just in honor of the 10th anniversary of the school system and the role that they've played in helping us get here. But I think what most people know is Dr. Mitchell was involved in the feasibility study that first demonstrated certainly a belief, researched and founded belief for all of the municipal school systems that the school systems could exist and function, and from a budget perspective and facilities perspective, operate independently of a larger school system. But since that time, Dr. Mitchell has served as a consultant through his business, Southern Educational Strategies, and he has worked very, 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 very closely over many hours over a number of projects here in Lakeland School System, and those include all of the planning, construction, furnishing of both the Lakeland Middle Preparatory School, Lakeland High School, the 13-classroom extension of Lakeland Elementary School, the building of the turf football facility, the building of numerous other athletic facilities, the recent site enhancements at Lakeland Preparatory School. He also was involved in the design of our central office, which we know has not yet come to be, but he was still there through that, and numerous other smaller projects over the course of the system. So what I'd like to do is, if I could bring up Dr. Mitchell and Nancy, I'd like to recognize them formally, and then maybe if we could get a picture with the school board. One thing I want to note, I said there were a couple of reasons. He's been with us 10 years, but right now, as of this month, and it's hard for me to even say this, he is such a person of integrity, and we are such a fiscally conservative school system. There is not technically, for the first time in a really long time, an active construction project happening right now in Lakeland School System. So he is technically off the clock with Lakeland School System for the first time. We've had one thing after another for literally the last, at least 7.5, 8 years. Well, more than that, probably 8.5 years. And right now, we're between those things. So he is just here as a private citizen and not a contractor with Lakeland School System, and we thought we would honor him tonight. But I have a couple things I want to present, and if you guys want to come down, you can do that. I'm going to shift the camera here a little bit.
Do you want me to be down here somewhere?
Well, we'll do pictures first, and if you'd like to say something, you certainly want to do that afterwards. All right, so what I have here is a certificate of appreciation And this certificate says, this certificate is presented to Dr. James B. Mitchell Jr. and Nancy G. Mitchell in recognition of over a decade of unwavering support and invaluable contributions to the Lakeland school system. We extend our deepest gratitude and appreciation. Your dedication has played a pivotal role in shaping our community and the futures of countless students. So this is for the two of you. And I have something else for you, and this is something that only 3 other people in Lakeland school system have. We've started a new tradition in Lakeland school system, and that is a tradition of pins, commemorative pins. And if you've been watching the Olympics, all the Olympians trade pins with each other, and we've got a number of pins recognizing a number of things. But these are the Superintendent's Award. There are not very many of these pins, so don't lose them. No. And these have the Lakeland School System shield and our motto, learn, grow, lead there. And so anywhere that you display these or wear these or keep them or whatever you'd like to do with them, these are in special recognition of what your service has meant to me personally, in addition to the school system. Dr. Mitchell has been an incredible mentor and a source of knowledge and experience and expertise, and I have grown so much. I've learned, I've grown, and I lead better because of the experience we've had together. And certainly Nancy Mitchell has also been a source of ongoing support and encouragement. She is one of the few people that gets it, that understands what it's like to be in the household with a superintendent and what that means in terms of long nights and frustration.
Or in the house without a superintendent.
That's right. Now, I know he's never dealt with a school board quite as wonderful as mine, so you can't relate to that. But I'm grateful for both of you and wanted to give you this.
That's beautiful.
This as well.
It's beautiful.
As a token of our
Thank you for letting us
appreciation.
borrow him.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
So
I'll wear it with pride.
Well, I thought you might.
Do we have a hard hat we could put on you just for?
Got one in
He's got one in the car. I'll tell you what he's got, because I know. He's got a hard hat, he's got a construction vest, and he's got boots he could put on right now. He's probably got a 50-foot tape ruler and some other things. But yeah, I know he does. So let's see if we can get a picture over here. Our communication specialist, DJ, is going to...
You tell us what you want me to do.
You stand here and we'll kind of
And we'll
surround
fill in around you.
All right.
okay.
And
I don't
we'll
know if I should be in the
show this wonderful certificate. Thank you, Dr. Barrow.
Well, I mean, there's,
Do I need to swap with her?
I'm just going to do this for
Okay.
Okay. You can help.
Right now, I feel like I'm...
Oh, how nice. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for many, 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 many years, many, even before we were a thing.
Yeah, I know. Even before you.
Thank you again. Not only is it all of our students in our district, but it's also all of our personal children who are all in the district, so thank you again.
You're welcome.
Is this yours, sir?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, you got it.
Helping children become who they are meant to become. Right. I mean, it's, you know, I think educators are royalty. I honestly mean that from the bottom of my heart. Y'all are some of the most, if not the most important people in the world.
well, I would walk in the mud anytime.
Would you like to say a few words?
I will give you the podium.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I'll stay right here.
There you go.
That's fine. As soon as everybody can see you.
No. Oh, well, you're reading this.
I'm going to read something. I do thank you all very, very much for the opportunity to have worked with you for many, many years.
Wonderful.
It really has been an honor and a privilege, and I mean that sincerely, to have a chance to work with young people like you, because you're all young. Yeah, you are. You'll see how young in just a minute. but to serve as your consultant throughout the process to create the Lakeland school system. Not just to create the buildings and the facilities, but to create the system. Now, this is my wife, Nancy G. Mitchell. You've met her. We've been married for 56 years to the same people. Well, you know, sometimes this 56 years may not be the same.
It's important to be clear.
That's
Clarity's
right. But thinking about high school and what's happening at your high schools and what will happen and what happens at Arlington and all the others, we actually met in high school, in a public high school in Memphis, when we were 15 years old. And we actually started dating then 62 years ago. Now you can start putting the numbers together. I told you we were young, right? We started dating 62 years ago. And she has supported my career in education literally from the first time that I went to a classroom, which was this time in August, in a very interesting year, which was 1968. If you know anything about the history of Memphis in 1968, you know some of the events that were happening at that time. It was a very, very interesting time to start work as a teacher. But Nancy's been there from the beginning and was a part of my first teaching assignment, working with 7th and 8th grade students, teaching English, language arts, and social studies. Now, Ms. Williams, she knows what that's about. As we were just talking about, and as Dr. Harrell mentioned, educators' work takes more than 8 hours a day. It is simply not an 8-hour day job, never has been, and never will be. Lots of nights, lots of weekends. I'm sure your family knows it well. So she gave up a lot of our time together in order to support me over the many, many years. But in addition, she had her own career. She succeeded with Delta Airlines for 32 years. So working her own career and own life. So I really appreciate all you've done, honey. I really do. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Now, last week, you started your 11th year of operations. Now, many people 11 years ago, 12 years ago, said you were going to fail. Your Board of Commissioners and your mayor took a risk in 2012 and employed our consulting firm to produce school district feasibility studies. So you started here in Lakeland with one school, 820 students. You now have more than 2,300 students and a very diverse group of students. And I think that's important for people to understand. You have a very diverse student body, and you're succeeding in working with them. You started with one elementary school. You've built an award-winning middle school, an outstanding high school facility, an athletic facility, and you did another major classroom addition. All of that in 10 years from people who said, this won't work. You built successful school boards. You've had stability on your school boards. You've had good leadership there. I told you all before, you're a school board who understands what the role is and what it isn't, and that's important. You built a great leadership team. You employed a very, very talented young man as superintendent. He's aged a little bit in 2 years, but that job will do that to you. But you built that leadership team. You've built faculties. You built staffs, and you've got a parent representative here too. You built parent groups that have been critical to the support of this organization. And what's happened is you've produced outstanding results in academics, athletics, and the arts. That's a triple header. It really is. You've produced great results in all of those areas. In addition to that, you've successfully managed your operating budget, your capital budget, and you've provided salaries and benefits that are at one of the highest levels in this area. So I ask you, is that failure? I don't think so. That is success. Very, very, very good success. So from the start, our team, including Nancy, and our team at Southern Education Strategies, I've told you before, our team believed it, and you have achieved it. So I say congratulations to you and thank you for the opportunity. Keep going another decade or 5. Thank you again.
I do want to say one thing about Ted and why he has been so successful. Not many people know this, but the first time I saw Ted was at Germantown High School when my husband was vice principal. And Ted was involved in lots of things, the TV studio, theater, and I remember him on the Germantown Poplar Pike stage. And this is one of the reasons why he has risen as high as he has, is because he was on stage dressed in a waiter's uniform singing Hello Dolly. And it was just an amazing event. And from there, he has just moved up and up because of that experience.
Well, I'll just mention one other thing that he probably hadn't told you about, and he want to talk.
What are we doing?
We're taking notes here.
Go on.
And you miss seeing it because you're too young. You talk about having the courage to get up on a stage in one of the very best theater programs in the country and to have the lead role in the musical Oklahoma and having to sing that opening song. Is that right, Dr. Harrell?
True, yeah.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow, and you were singing that. You were the lead role in Oklahoma. Well, I don't know whether you knew that he could do that. I know you know he plays guitar and he sings in a band and all that, but he also took care of all that on the stage at Germantown in Oklahoma. So congratulations, Dr. Harrell. Good luck. You have my phone number if you need me.
We got you. Thank you. Thank you both so much.
Would anybody from the board like to say anything before we move to the next item? Let them get seated.
Yeah, I'll let them get seated. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell, by the way.
Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much. Y'all are the best.
Thank you.
Amazing.
We feel the same about you.
Yep. All right.
Well, he's left. I don't want to talk about him when he leaves the room, but I will say Dr. Mitchell has been here since before the beginning, so I thank him for being here tonight, too. 11, 12 years later, since I truly believe without Southern Education Strategies, we would not have had what we needed to form the municipal schools. So he and his partners were key in making the municipal schools. So I thank him, even though he's gone, thank him for what he's done, and so I'll play it back for him. I'll send him in a video. Send him the video. I give him credit for it, but anyways, all right, next item.
So next item, as far as the superintendent's report goes, just a few more things and then we'll move on. But I have to acknowledge we had the great start of school on Thursday after our work session meeting. I was just so pleased with all of the work that the administrators did and the faculty and staff did to prepare for the students. It honestly was the smoothest first day as far as arrival, the day itself, and dismissal that I've ever experienced, very frankly. It was very well organized, and that was despite having this brand new access road that we've spent quite a bit of time talking about, making sure that we maximized. The LPS administration had a good plan, I think with the support of the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. It was executed very well and seems to have met our objectives for that road. I think it'll be even better when we get the temporary light up. We don't have any update on the timetable there, but I do know that we have gotten some questions back and forth from the Tennessee Department of Transportation, so we have every reason to believe that they're working towards getting that permit finished, and hopefully as soon as they do, we can get the temporary light at CTIC and US 70 up. But just the kids have been unbelievable, and the faculty and staff, and just a great energy in this 11th year at both schools. I did want to give an enrollment update. We had some preliminary numbers that I shared last week. What I'm speaking to now are the kind of actual kids in desks, kids in seats at the school. It looks like as of today, they took an updated one today. They had 935. That doesn't count the preschool students. We have 4 classes of preschoolers and typical peers. We have 935 at Lakeland Elementary. That is 36 below the projection that we've been using, so a handful in each of the 5 grade levels there. And at Lakeland Preparatory School, we have 1,461 students there in the combined 5 through 11. And that is 77 under the projections. And as I noted, noted to the board, I think the demographer, I think, projected a little high on some of these numbers, but for a total of 113 under projection. But I will say that's filled in even from the first day of school numbers, so I'll keep the board updated on that, but certainly nothing to panic about in that case. But like I said, overall, really great start of school. Sports are up and running. Auditions for fine arts are up and running. Just everything's happening already at Lakeland School System. So if there are any questions, I can certainly answer those.
Does anyone have any questions for the superintendent? Hearing none. The only thing I will say, I'll make a comment. I think every year in August, we have the discussion about buses and be calm about buses and the updates. I mean, every single year in August, and I believe, knock on wood, I believe this is the first year we haven't had a discussion about buses at our August meeting ever since we started the Lakeland School System. So I think Carville's job that they're doing with Durham buses and all of those, and with our administrations at the school to make sure that communication has gone out about the buses, everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and that has gone very smoothly. So I definitely want to say a big thank you there, that we actually didn't have to have a conversation at all this year, knock on wood.
Thank you for noting that. I can tell you the first day of school, the last bus arrived at 8:17 that morning for an 8:15 start, which is truly unprecedented. I mean, it was unbelievable.
amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you and your staff and all the administration and our work with Carville schools to all that has been, because that has been, I think it has been a relief not hearing about it, to make this school year feel like it just started off fairly, it's just, that's usually a point of stress among our families, a real big point of stress with our families. So I think all the work that everybody has done to prepare it, I think it was a big deal.
Thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll say the same thing. I got no phone calls or text messages on Thursday or Friday, either one, about traffic or buses or
Yes.
anything. So it was great.
Yes.
It only took 10 years to get there.
So you've set the bar.
That's right.
We're going to keep glad. All right.
Happy birthday.
That's right.
It's the best present ever.
It is. It is. Let me also note on the financial summary, we're closing out a fiscal year, so that I will get that to the board. That is not currently posted right now, but we will get that to you as soon as it's available. That's not uncommon for that August meeting.
All right, Dr. Moore, next item.
All right, next item is the approval of the agenda.
Was there an item that you had requested that we add?
There is. I would request that the board add update to 24-25 extracurricular activities.
I'm writing it down, sorry.
Okay.
And are we adding that to consent or regular?
That is really up to the board. It's
I was going to request that we add that to consent.
Is there any objection to adding the 24-25 activities item that Dr. Hoare has requested that is to the consent agenda to add, I believe the
Add
activity is bowling?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any objection to adding that to the consent agenda? Hearing none, the item is considered added as number 12 to the consent agenda. Any more items anybody would like to add or remove from the agenda?
If the board pleases, I would like to add number 3 and number 4 to the consent agenda as well.
There was a discussion about that, correct, last week? Or there wasn't a discussion about adding a consent? I don't think there was.
Don't recall.
Okay. Is there any objection from the rest of the board to adding that to 3 and 4 to the consent agenda and making that items number 13 and 14? Hearing none, we'll consider those items moved to items 13 and 14 on the consent agenda. Any more additions or subtractions or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
So, second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved as amended. Next item.
Next item is the consent agenda.
Is there a motion to get this item on the floor?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second for items 1 through 14 on the consent agenda. Is there anything anybody would like to remove from the consent agenda?
There's not, but I did want to make a comment. Dr. Horrell and I talked last week. It's exciting to see that we actually have Perkins CTE money in this year's budget, and that's part of those amendments.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see us being able to start to utilize those funds.
Excellent.
Any more discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The consent agenda is approved. Next item.
Next item, as we move into the discussion action section, is approval of Resolution 2024-0801, a resolution requesting funding for special education preschool students in the Tennessee Investment and Student Achievement Act, TISA formula.
Is there a motion to get this item on the floor?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Childs or Dr. Horrell, who would like to speak to it?
Ian?
Either one.
Okay. So Dr. Horrell brought this to our attention before last summer, actually for many years. But last year, we did a resolution with TSBA. There was a bill, and it made its way through, but, it does have a large fiscal note. However, we are bringing it back this year. More awareness has been made. Several of the municipal school systems had asked me if we could all do a joint resolution. So I did send it to all of the muni school systems. TSBA is going to combine whichever systems want to put forward this resolution. But essentially, it's a statewide issue. All schools in the state of Tennessee are required to serve special needs preschool students, but there's almost no funding. So it's really obvious now that we have TISA because each student's funded, but then there's this group that has no funding. This resolution reflects that, and then, if we choose to pass it tonight, then I will also submit it to TSBA again so that we can get another bill going through. And Dr. Horrell and I have also been trying to contact a number of individuals to try to get more awareness with the Department of Education, as well as the governor's office, the legislators. We're trying to meet with whoever will meet with us to try to talk about this and the budget for it. But again, it's a lot of money. We're one of the smallest school districts in the state, and it's still more than $500,000 that's not funded at all for us. And Ms. Thomas had a great suggestion last time to include the actual dollar amount on the resolution. So I also sent that to the municipal legislative liaisons in case they wanted to, have the same format with theirs. So any questions?
Any discussion on this item?
I just thank you for keeping it first and foremost to everybody's attention for both of you.
And then I know you said you've talked to legislators and trying to reach out. I know we talked about getting them to come in and observe it in real time and see what it's like in those classrooms when the teachers and the aides are working with them. And
yes, we will do that a little bit later when it's closer, later in the fall. But right now, we're trying to get in touch with others that I mentioned a minute ago. But that is definitely on the to-do list of
Works, yeah.
Yes, that is definitely a plan.
So I will say, Michelle, thank you again. I'll echo what everybody else says. Thank you for keeping this up front. I think y'all did a lot of work last year. It seemed to catch people's attention a little bit more traction last year. Hopefully this year, again, we can, go off of that traction that we had last year and be able to build more traction and eventually get at least some level of funding. I certainly want the full level of funding, but some funding is better than no funding for the students that we're required to serve. So certainly, I thank y'all for all the work you're doing to try to get this pushed forward. And I think as we all, across the state, as everybody comes together on this issue, not just in municipal schools, but if we can get TSBA behind it as well, I think that's a big deal too. So thank you for continuing to spearhead this and not letting up on this. It's a big deal.
well, and the complexion of the legislatures changed a little because we just had elections. So we don't know with whom this may really resonate. And I know last year you went and you testified in front of the Education Committee, and there were still people who didn't understand that most of us don't get that paltry sum that there is out there for preschool funding. So I'm just going to go ahead and say now, if they want to talk to you again, you have my blessing to go, because I do think there was a great misunderstanding despite what we thought was great clarity on our part. So, yep.
All right, all in favor of approving the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is approval of new policy 4.214, use of artificial intelligence programs, second reading.
I will make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Horrell?
Yep, we had a very good discussion about this, and the main concern, or suggestion rather, was brought up by Mr. Burnett about not utilizing AI, basically not solely relying on AI detection programs when investigating possible plagiarism. After a good discussion, Mr. Burnett recommended the word solely. I will note to the board and the public, Dr. Terrell really loved that suggestion and said she thanked Dr. Burnett for, Mr. Burnett, Dr. Burnett for, sorry, Dr. Burnett for making it. That's right. So I now recommend this amended version.
And this is a second reading on a brand-new policy, so
Right.
that it would become in effect basically after this reading. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is approval of update to policy 6.313, discipline procedures.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Horrell?
Yes, this is another one that I think a good discussion from the work session has led to a better proposal here. And I want to thank our attorney, Eric Plumley, for making the suggestions on this one that wound up with the amended policy. Sorry, I'm pulling this up. So basically what the new recommendation here is to, we wanted to distinguish between aggravated assault and simple assault, and what that meant in terms of fighting. And after some good conversation here, Mr. Plumley recommended making, changing fighting simple on level 3 to simple assault, including without limitation fighting. And then also made a really good suggestion for level 4. And instead of unmodified, he said repeated / unmodified level 1, 2, and or level 3 behaviors, which also I think clarified that you didn't have to click every one. If you did one of these in a repeated way, that would still potentially qualify you for a level 4 misbehavior. So those were the main changes between the last two, and I've worked with Jeremy on that to see if that kind of met his goal for the policy, and he indicated that it did. So you're certainly, if you have any other comments, but.
No, I want to reiterate what Dr. Horrell said. Thanks to Mr. Plumley for making those suggestions and catching sort of that logical trap that a shade tree attorney, pardon the term, would use in an appeal process. So thank you for that.
Any more discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Are there no further items on the agenda?
Are there any announcements?
I do.
Ms. Childs?
I just want to announce that tomorrow is the first home girls soccer game in the newly expanded soccer field with the bleachers and everything. And as you know, as far as team sports, girls soccer is the only one at our school history that has gone to state 2 years running. So we just want to support them, even if I have to transport my own child to his practice in Carterville, but anyone that can come out and support the girls soccer, and I'm hoping I can get to a game soon because I would love to just be in our new redone soccer stadium. So.
Thank you, Ms. Giles, for that information. I think there's a bunch of upcoming sports and fundraisers. I think the calendar's already full, and there's fundraisers. I believe I've seen ones for the PTO, PTA, some spirit nights. There's some shirts out there, so get ready for it all. It's all here.
Yep.
School started. Yes.
And this bears announcing, since it wasn't in your superintendent's report, but Lakeland School Systems, for the first time ever, is hosting college-level coursework happening on the campus through dual enrollment. It's a personal love of mine, and I'm so excited to see that, even if my child is not that excited about it.
Thank you, Mr.
Great
Burnett.
announcement. Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
One moment, if I may take the quick privilege. I want to thank Ms. Williams for coming tonight. It's such an honor for me to have you here, and I'm sure for the rest of the board. As my wife's first boss in the school system, thank you. It's funny because Dr. Mitchell was the person that interviewed my wife. My wife calls me and says, the superintendent of the school system just came and interviewed me. I was like, well, that's great. It's like, the story went that they were just slam packed that day, and Dr. Mitchell just, rolled up his sleeves and got in there and helped them. So, such a great honor. Courtney, all the best. We're rooting for you, and thank you for being here tonight. So, thank you. We love it. We love it. Thank you so much for that.
No problem, sorry about that. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.